All right, hey everybody, it's Umber Rays. I have returned from the live stream, and a fantastic live stream it was. Just to make sure, yes, my microphone is recording this time. Excellent. Always check that, kids, before you start recording. Anyway, so tonight was the JP live stream for the 2.5 anniversary. We are going to be recapping it as fast and quickly and as accurately as I can. However, shout outs to my co-streamers tonight, Dr. Diggs and Odaiba Diver. Dr. Diggs, of course, of Wotv fame, of course, but Odaiba Diver, maybe you don't know him. He's the guy, he streams, he has his own YouTube channel, and he also does the Reddit posts with a lot of the translation work. Fantastic people to stream with this evening, and I just want to give a shout out to them before we continue. Next, get that music out of there. It's not a Final Fantasy IX collaboration. Tonight, we're getting a Final Fantasy 13 collaboration. So, starting on May 14th will be the Final Fantasy 13 collaboration. Hey, there it is. So Lightning, Hope, and Snow, we're going to just bring up really quickly the window capture, and we're going to show off important information from the live stream and go from there. But yeah, it was a 2.5 anniversary. We got a little bit of a recap, and then we got this video showing, hopefully it's going to work here and not crash. There we go. We have the announcement of Final Fantasy 13 will be coming to the game. It is our major collaboration, brand new collaboration for those who don't know, and we are going to have 3 potentially incredibly strong characters coming to the game. Lightning will be the lightning element, Hope will be the light element, and Snow will be the ice element. Also of note for this collaboration, Hope will be the free character this time. And interestingly, this is something that I'm actually kind of excited about. Hope gives me hope for the future because they've actually expanded the types of weapons that are available in game. Basically, if you were to look at different types of weapons in the game, there wasn't any room for boomerangs. There wasn't really any classification or mechanics for how that would work. Now there is, and that opens the door for Yuffie. We're getting FF7 Part 2 with Yuffie, just you wait, boys. Anyway, so hype aside and all that, let's talk about what this collaboration is going to bring, what the characters look like, and for that, we're just going to jump a fair bit into the future. So first of all, Lightning is, of course, the lightning element, and gonna go through her really quickly. Limit Burst is a single target attack, 3-turn sword resistance down, lightning resistance down, dealing large damage to the enemy. And yeah, it's also a 3-hit ability, so great for chaining. Also potentially going to be really good for getting rid of barriers or protection that units may have. And last but not least, great for guild wars and any kind of chaining missions in the future, which is going to make Lightning a fantastic first unit for new players to the game. And that's good because Lightning is a really popular character. People who are starting the game, Lightning is looking like a great first character. Sub-jobs are Sniper and Viking. Sniper, probably a great addition. She will have both slash attacks and range projectile attacks. Viking, probably just there to make her more brawly. Don't know how super excited I am to see that job because it's kind of a little bit old at this point, but not going to really pick too much on it. It's probably just pretty good. All right, also should be noted some of her abilities that we have here. First of all, bottom left-hand corner, a barrier breaker that will get rid of barriers, physical barriers on enemies, deal medium damage. Top right corner is a large diamond ranged AoE, which is going to be just amazing for farming. Interestingly as well, if Lightning kills a unit with this ability, she will get AP regeneration. Honestly, this is kind of scary. It has really good range on it. It's a massive AoE, and AP reduction or AP restoration for Lightning up to 2 times. So if you kill 3 enemies, you only get it for 2, but it probably is a pretty big AP restoration if it's that limited. And I mean, just she should be pretty self-sustainable and a really great farmer just from that alone. Bottom right-hand corner ability, I'm a little fuzzy on this, but it is a buff ability that gives some AP back to Lightning, as well as giving an accuracy boost and a speed boost for 3 turns to herself and allies. So Lightning, great little leader unit, looks like a fantastic first unit to get your hands on. Now, I also heard, and I'm not 100% convinced that this is accurate because I can't find this. So please, 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 please take this with a grain of salt. But I've heard that Lightning is supposed to have follow-up attacks similar to Noctis as well as Astrius. I'm not 100% convinced that this is the way it is because I haven't really been able to confirm that. So please put this as grain of salt. But yeah, we'll see in the future kind of thing if that's true or not. But Lightning is looking to be a fantastic unit. All right, next up is Hope. And interestingly, this unit is going to be the free unit. I mean, Hope is not exactly everybody's most favorite character from Final Fantasy 13. Sub-jobs are going to be Red Mage and Time Mage. We're not talking, of course, about the main jobs because we don't know too much about them. But also, I should mention there's no 100 cost characters in this collaboration. All right, so sub of Red Mage means that he'll have a good AP start. Time Mage means that he'll probably have haste, slow, potentially quicken as well, which will be great for support. Hope is a character that specializes in supporting allies with the ability to increase physical damage and firepower through calculations from slashing up and attribute up. Also, we'll have a unique weapon of a boomerang. So let's just, we're too many screens up right now. Last Resort looks to be a limit burst that will, I do believe, reduce magic resistance to magic attacks as well as upping magic power. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Limit burst is... This is one of the characters I definitely kind of have put out a bit of my mind. But it is basically, Hope is a magical character that will support physical characters. And that is kind of interesting. It does feature into the flavor of Cuna, but I'm curious about how good he will be with magic without big support from the Bahamut vision card and such. Taking a look at some of his abilities here, he does have a bunch of stuff. Top right is interestingly a non-elemental diamond AoE, which will be good for new players. That removes AoE resistance and also gives a 1-turn buff to him as well. Just gonna double check on this one. Yes, 1-turn stun effect that also makes it impossible to take a action. It was stun that I was forgetting about. Bottom right hand corner is a 3-turn effect to increase the physical damage of allies. Now, this could just be a strength buff. I'm not 100% sure. The wording of it is a little bit weird to make me wonder if it's going to be damage calculation up or increasing the damage limit. Doesn't seem necessarily, but it also could be. So I'm a little confused about the wording on this and about how they specifically explained it on stream. They didn't really say, so I hope that it's a damage limit up one, but not 100% convinced that they were really clear on that one. And the other one seems to have a little bit of aggression down for turns, so it might be a hate down. So Hope is kind of this weird, interesting unit, and that kind of makes him a great little free unit per se. I think he's going to be better for long-term players because if you're really going to want to use him, you're still going to want him to be strong, whether he is providing support or not. But that's going to require really big vision cards, and the biggest vision card for light magic is Bahamut. I mean, you could potentially just put him with support cards if you're not really looking to get too much damage and you're just using him as a support unit. He doesn't work per se with light evasion, but there is a lot of potential for him in light chaining parties. So I think Hope will find a spot, but exactly how his kit works and exactly what his kit looks like is probably one of the more interesting things I want to know for the future. And I'm going to want to see the actual full details for it. Last and certainly not least is Snow. Snow has the Relentless Hero as the main job, Sub is Fighter, and Sub is Ninja. Ninja is really good here, means that he's going to have absolutely great movement. Sub of Fighter is going to make him brawly, and Indomitable Hero will also is basically just a tank. So for all intents and purposes, you can basically expect Snow to be a tank-based character for the ice element. He does possess Guts effect as well as Hate Up initially, and he also possesses Little Leela's special ability that if Snow's HP falls below a certain percentage, he will get a HP restoration. So for Leela, if her HP falls, I think below 20%, but because of the Guts effect, she doesn't die, then this character will just get basically all of their HP back, making it really difficult to kill. That combines with the Guts effect is interesting. As for his Limit Burst single hit that has, let me just double check here. This was an interesting one on stream. I'm actually just going to go back for a second because I did not talk about it. It does have the removal of float, which for anyone who plays this game, float has never been an issue the entire time. And I'm curious what that could mean for the future. And also has a stun effect. So stun kind of makes sense. I expected that. No Shiva in this Limit Burst, you know, why would there be? But interestingly, the stun effect on it is, I mean, the anti-float just makes me wonder why that's there, because no character really uses float, and I wonder if it has something to do with the way his attacks are coded. Don't know. Continuing on, we will take a look here. So he has a 3-turn defense down with also dealing damage in terms of a strike unit. He has a large damage ability that can cancel all enhancements, basically kind of a dispel effect on it. And last but not least, of course, a Guts style effect, keeping him alive from a major hit that would effectively kill him. So overall, Snow is probably going to be the character that a lot of people have been looking for the ice element. And yeah, that's essentially it. More details in the future. Let's just skip through. Hope will, of course, be coming on the regular 10 poll that we have. You'll get your first copy of him through that. And there was also announced 3 vision cards. So a Hope vision card, a Lightning vision card, and a Snow vision card. The Hope vision card first copy is available through logins. The other 2 vision cards will be through banners. You can basically expect them to be respectively for their own specific element. Hopes will be for light, Lightnings will be for lightning, and Snow will be for ice. So there you go. As for what the vision cards do, don't know at this moment. We will have to wait and find out through the in-game news a little bit later. Next up, interestingly enough, they have announced that there will be multiple maps coming here, but really it seems like there's only one weapon for now. Hope's weapon seems to be obtainable through challenge missions of some kind, and will probably be more like Rain's sword and less like anything else. So yeah, you'll probably won't need to craft it because it's a new weapon and everything, and they don't really exist in the game. They're just making sure that everybody who gets Hope will also get that weapon pretty easily. here you can see the 3 out of the 4 maps, because the last map was a little bit of a surprise with the announcement that Fang will be one of the characters we will be fighting against in this collaboration. We'll of course be fighting against other Final Fantasy 13 enemies, but Fang is basically at this point, you know, whenever 13 gets rerun, she's going to be the next banner kind of thing, because her model and everything is already finished. So yeah, Fang will be one of the challenging units that you will be fighting in this, and pretty cool because Fang is basically my favorite character from Final Fantasy 13, and it does put a kind of a date of when we will actually get her when FF13 rolls around for part 2. So, looking on the bright side, there's Hope's Boomerang through the challenge missions. Let's move on. Logins will include 40 Hope Shards, 40 Lightning Shards, and a copy of Hope's Vision Card. The rest of the shards you'll have to get yourself, but there you go. Nice little bonus. As for Lightning's Vision Card, that will be a gacha one. So really 2 Vision Cards that we need to show off. All right, so let's skip a little bit through and head to the thing that I'm sure everybody has been waiting for relentlessly. Here is the return of Final Fantasy Tactics. It will be returning from May 23rd on the JP side to June 22nd. So a little bit shorter than the FF13 one. Should be noted before we get any further into this announcement that there is no new content whatsoever. There is no new characters, new vision cards, or anything. It is basically a repeat to give the Tactics characters their EX jobs and their Master Ability 2s all in one event. So for anyone, before you get too excited, basically should be relatively cheap while 13 rerun, since if you have the characters already, just need to get them into EX. And if not, well, I mean, provided you have the characters already like I do up to 99, just really about getting the EX orb. So globalers, you might want to start saving if you already haven't, if you're interested in these. To talk about what to expect, they said a little bit about their intentions for each of the characters. So Ramza, they want to make a better buffer. Orlando, they want to be more brawly and more damage dealy. Gaff, kind of the same thing. Delita, they want to fix his range as well as issues with AP. Agrius, they want to make her effectively like Snow, but also with a focus on status effects. And Mustadio, they want to make him so that his status effects are pretty guaranteed of happening, which is really interesting with Petrification, Immobilize, and such. Mustadio might be the one to watch. Of course, the FF Tactics Vision Cards will also be returning during this period. And if I was to say really quickly my impressions, I think out of all of them, Orlando with a combination of Lightning is probably one of the ones to watch, along with Gaff and Mustadio, as they usually overbuff MRs a little bit too much. Definitely want to keep an eye on both of those characters. As for Agrius, Agrius might be a really good alternative to having to pull for Snow, interestingly enough. If you're looking for an ice tank, Agrius might just be competitive, especially with those status effects and whatnot. Really keep an eye on the Agrius Snow battle on May 23rd once we have the data for both, as that'll be a big deciding factor about which one is actually worth it. But interestingly, people who already have Agrius, you may just be able to pass completely on Snow and be totally fine in the ice element. Whereas people who want both might be able to make an incredibly brawly ice team that might give headaches. Other than that, Delita and Ramza I'm putting on my list because I'm just not convinced that they'll be that amazing. Orlando I think has really high potential just because of Esther on Global and the new Lightning unit. I think it's going to be really, really good going forward. So yeah, let's move on. The only other thing to talk about in terms of tactics, all of the tactics content will be coming back, including Magnarok and equipment. I assume that this equipment will be getting its 6-star version because otherwise what chance will there be in the future? And announced also was one of my favorite pieces of content ever. Deep Dungeon is also coming back, and this is where we got Agrius's sword originally. So I assume this will be Agrius's sword getting a upgrade. It was already a great piece of equipment. If you can get it, get the +1 version, which I assume will be possible, it will be a nice upgrade for that sword. And there will be opportunities to get FF Tactics shards through gold banners, as well as looks like unit currency, or event currency. So that's great news for people. Probably expect about 40 shards from it. All right. And last and certainly not least, I'm going to talk a little bit, and I do mean a little bit, about some of the quality of life upgrades that will be coming to the game. There was also announced that there will be 150 free summons for all JP players, so 10 per day for 15 days, which is really, really nice. Thank you, Gumi, for the generosity. Hopefully some newer units are included on that. Up to Queen Macherie is what I meant to say. Also, there'll be a lot of triple and double drops, but there was a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to try and go through this pretty quickly, just because we are running really slow on this video. So first of all, guild batch quests. So these arenas, or these guild statue things, there's now a skip button that basically skips all of them in one single go and gives you all of the rewards in one single go. The only other thing to really note about this is it's set from your previous instance. So if you do all 4 of them and then you hit the skip button, you basically get a carbon copy of the rewards that you got from that time. So once you get a rollout that you're happy with, you can essentially just, make this much quicker and not have to deal with the long load times. Really nice to see going forward. All right, next thing. Trust stones, or runes, or runics, or whatever they were called on global. A couple of new features. A auto function to auto equip based on 3 parameters will be added to the game. In terms of quality, this is just to make it quicker to build runes without having to spend so much time mucking around in them. Next up will be presets. So you will be able to set presets for specific runes that you think are really good. Maybe a status effect one was something that Diggs talked about on stream earlier, or potentially just assault ones or brawler ones. So this is really great. I'm happy to see this feature. Hopefully runes will continue to be improved in the future. Next up is this one, a renovation to vision card details. So basically the UI is getting improved to show which characters will get buffs from certain vision cards. Next up, obolites. You will be able to set obolites easier and more auto to specific characters, to just store a whole bunch of them on a character and turn it on and off whenever you feel like it. And effectively make the obolite system in terms of job point boosting just much easier and more friendly and more appealing. Alright, and this is where I'm going to just spew off a bunch of upgrades that will be both introduced for so these ones are introduced for a limited time. Increase of the number of max recovery items per day. So stamina pots will be increased by a total of 10 times per day for the next little while. It looks like from May 14th or June 15th, you'll be able to do that. The number of physical large potions every day will be increased for people. They will also be adding each attribute to the medal exchange. I'm not entirely sure what this means. Both me and Odaiba were a little bit confused about this one because they didn't really specify on stream what that means. Basically, stay tuned for it because I honestly don't know. Next up, the daily or the weekly quests, daily quests or whatever, will have half energy for this time period. And last but not least, double the number of shards of thought for each attribute in the awakening source material. This I'm kind of a little bit skeptical on exactly what this means. I mean, basically, I think it's the elemental attribute pieces that you can farm. I think that's what they're talking about, but I'm not 100% sure. It also might just be from daily logins and as well as Chocobo and other sources. I mean, it sounds like it's Awakening Stones and Awakening Flames are getting doubled for a little while to help ease the problem that players are having with them. And this is a temporary fix while they potentially get bigger fixes in the future for this stuff. But a lot of the message on stream tonight was making the game less work and more enjoyable for the future, which is great news. That's something we are really happy to hear. All right, and next, and I think the last thing we need to talk about is this. So this is going to be some changes to the game that are going to be more permanent, but in the future. First of all, small stamina potions that are on daily logins will now be changed to 200 stamina 3 times a day. So basically 600 stamina instead of 3 small pots. Just thank you for getting rid of the small pots. Secondly, a large health or large stamina recoveries will be added to Chocobo Exploration. They can be dropped. Don't expect high rates, but another way to get large stamina pots is really good at this point, and they could probably just make them fairly common if they want people to keep playing. So great. But no real word on exactly how great that will be. Next up, double the number of drops of job enhancements materials in story quests. So just a permanent starting on June 1st, it looks like. So basically story from then on will just constantly give double stuff for job mats. And last but not least, also on June 1st will be the added of the scarlet, red, or pink material, whatever you want to say. The highest material jobs strengthening materials will be added to story quests. So you know how we can get green, blue, purple, and yellow. Now we will be also able to get scarlet. Hopefully this means that the specific dungeon can kind of go away a little bit, and we can get those mats just from another source, because we don't necessarily need it, and it's probably moving towards a new power level that will need to be obtained through a different way. But if the old stuff gets easier, I'm actually kind of just fine with it. Oh. And that's basically everything. There was also some stream rewards, of course, to do with just giving away gifts and everything like that. The FF13 in collaboration is the major story coming out of this. Also, the tactics rerun, and last but not least, the general ease of the game in terms of us playing it seems to be getting easier in the future. So all of this, generally really nice things to see going forward. Hopefully that will mean that we can all just have more fun and have less stress in the future to do with awakening materials, job materials, runes, and all of this. And hopefully all the 13 characters are just great, because tactics characters are getting a boost. 13 characters are coming to the game. What are you excited for most? And tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See ya next video, whenever that is. I'm taking a rest now. I'm not dead though. Don't worry.